So we're talking about, okay, first off, our top of the route techniques and fundamentals, okay? So starting out, I want to talk about the shake drill first, okay? So the shake drill is an indie drill that we'll show you in a little bit, but when we get to the top of our route, okay, and we're going to head nod opposite, we're going to utilize what we call the shake drill. Now the shake drill is two things. So number one, when we have a DB, okay, beat, and he is behind us, okay, we're going to utilize what we call the shake drill, okay, meaning we know that, you know, if we're running a vertical route, obviously we're going on the vertical route, but we could be breaking 9 times out of 10 on a post, a dig, and out some type of out breaking route, and we've got that DB stacked, we've got him beat. So once we have him beat, okay, we want to always shake opposite of where we're going. Okay, so let's say I'm running a dig route, I've got this DB on my hip, okay, right here. I don't want to just get to the top, okay, and stick and go on my dig. Okay, that DB is going to undercut it. A good defensive back is still going to be able to recover once you have him beat and make that play. So we want to get to the top of that route, shake drill opposite, okay, and then break on our route to try to lose him. So that's one of the drills and techniques we teach at the top of that route. Okay, another thing with the shake drill, the second aspect of it, it could be when I have the DB beat or when I have the DB even with me. Okay, he's kind of on that hip. He doesn't necessarily have to be totally stacked. He might, so you're going to see a couple clips. We're running dig routes, okay, and we've got a guy kind of draped on the side of us, okay, and we're still going to work on shake drilling him opposite, okay, to where we're flashing that head and we're coming in on our break right there, okay. But the big key to that shake drill is head nod opposite, okay, and that's something at the top of our routes, even if we're taking the shake drill out of it and it's just you and me one-on-one, that DB's on top, okay. When we stick, and we talked about this in an earlier session, when we stick, we want to simultaneously time up our stick with our head nod. Now, when you coach the head nod is not this, okay, throwing your head to the side, okay? To me, that doesn't really sell the DB. Now, if a guy's really quick twitch, it could, but to me, what really sells the DB is when you turn that face mask and you really turn those eyes for a split second. I think that's what draws their attention. So we teach our guys when we get to the top of a route, okay, and we're about to break, and we're running a dig, a curl, anything like that, some type of route, we're going to get to the top of the route. We're going to stick, okay, and we're going to flash our head opposite right there, okay? So we're going to actually turn our face mask very briefly, okay? You're going to see that in some of our drill work that we're going to show, okay? Next, a couple things with the stick, okay? Talking about the sticks, okay? Probably one of the most important parts, okay? We want to have low pad level at the top of our route. Okay, one of the biggest things, okay, when you get to the top of that route, if your pad level's high, the DB knows something's up. He knows you're getting ready to break, okay? So we want that pad level low consistently, and I'll show you a couple of the drills that we utilize to teach that and to implement that, okay? After we've gotten that pad leverage low, and then we go to make our stick, okay, we want to stick underneath the framework of our body. Okay, so as we stick, we don't want to stick that leg way out, okay, and be off balance. That's when you slip, that's when you fall, okay? But when I get to the top of that route and I've got my pad leverage low, I haven't given anything away from the DB, okay, and I'm just chugging along, okay? He doesn't know if I'm going vertical, he doesn't know what's going on, but he feels that vertical thread. Again, it goes back to that saying we said in an earlier session, okay? Everything's a vertical till it's not. We want that DB to be threading vertical, okay, all night long, and then we want to break routes accordingly, okay, off of that vertical stem. So now I've got a great vertical stem, okay, I've got my pad leverage low, all right, then I'm going to stick within the framework of my body, okay, meaning and when we say the framework, we're talking within the shoulder frame, all right? We don't want to reach to stick, okay? Anytime we reach to stick and our pad leverage raises up, then that's when we're going to slip. That's where we're going to be inefficient out of our break, and the DB is going to close ground. So we want to emphasize sticking within the framework of our body, okay? We talk about the tits over the toes on the stick, okay? We want our tits over our toes. So when I stick, okay, it goes back to that lean. I don't want that body lean back and I'm sticking outside the framework, okay? I want to stick within the framework, but when I stick, I want my tits over my toes, okay? So again, I'm emphasizing that low pad leverage, then I can open that hip up, okay, to break where I need to go, okay? Stick the toe in the dirt and eliminate chops, okay? When we get to the top of that route, the last thing we want to do is have our pad leverage low, tits over our toes, and all of a sudden, as opposed to sticking, we start chopping. Okay, when we get to the top of that route and we start to chop, that DB starts to chop. I tell our guys all the time, the more chop steps you take, the more that DB is going to drive your route, because as soon as he sees, okay, those feet start to settle, especially if you start to get high pad leverage, okay, that DB is about to drive. Okay, so we want to make sure that we eliminate the chops, we call them, okay? And we don't want to take, typically, kind of a frame of reference I give the guys, I don't want to take more than 3, okay? Like, and again, we're not superhuman. We can't just run. There's very few receivers that can run 15 yards and stop on a dime on one step and make a cut, okay? We're going to push, and then we're going to give our just a buffer. We're going to give our guys 3 steps, okay, to get out of that break, all right there. So it ought to be 1, 2, 3, feet in the dirt, we're gone. Okay, I tell them prefer 2, okay? If we can go 1, 2 out, 1, 2 out, great. But a lot of times we got to go 1, 2, 3, okay? So I'm cool with that, okay, as long as we're being efficient with our footwork, all right? But we're going to give them that frame of reference of 3 steps, okay? Now the next thing, once we make that stick, okay, after we stick our toe in the dirt, we've eliminated chops, we've got our tits over our toes, we're sticking within the framework of our body, we got to open our hips up and explode out of that break, okay? And I'm going to show you a stick reach drill that we do. The guys can do it in their room, okay, at their house if they wanted to, okay, and get a lot of reps at it. It's a very simple drill, okay? But they're going to stick, and we got to open our opposite hip up now. We got to get that hip open, and I think that's why hip flexibility is so critical for receivers, so they can get out of those cuts. Okay, but we're going to open our hip up right there, and then we're going to explode out of our break, okay, as we run our route right there.